The Match Ball.
All right, you. Welcome to the show. We are streaming live on YouTube exclusively for our TSB Plus members who get early access to the Match Ball. You can also watch the show in the free feed later on. Listen in your podcast app too. It's brought to you with Levi's Solicitors is this one. The usual 10% discount on your legal fees on the full range of services, including Michael Normanton.
Will's Probate and Conveyancing. And do you know what? I was back in the Lowfields Tunnel today after a couple of weeks missing, and I don't think anyone said it to me. Not a single person shouted it out at me.
Why not?
How quickly they forget.
All right.
So next time I'm hoping for more. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Making it about you. Quite a lot of main character energy going on. Yeah. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. You will find full details and terms on the website. It's Dan, it's Michael and Chris Mack debriefing Leeds versus West Ham United. A 2-1 victory for the mighty, mighty Whites. I had a really good time this evening. I don't know about you, didn't you? A proper football match, two proper football teams under the lights in the rain at Ellen Road, and we got that. It was drama. It was never comfortable. It was everything you'd want in a football match.
Oh.
You hated it.
Well, it was pretty...
And the last 4 minutes, the last 4 minutes were fucking awful.
It was quite attritional lower quality.
The last 4 minutes were awful.
Mm. Although, in some ways...
This made it better.
They didn't have any pressure in, did they, particularly in that 4 minutes, though? They gave away a couple of daft free kicks.
Yeah, a couple of loopy crosses, but to no end, really.
Yeah.
Hit them hard, hit them early.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
But it was a weird game because we took a 2-0 lead so early. And then I felt we sat back probably too much and didn't really try and play enough football after that point. But ultimately, it didn't matter because until they did score, I actually felt relatively comfortable that West Ham wouldn't because there was just crap.
Feels a bit to me, Chris, like we probably did to West Ham in that second half what Burnley did to us last week, which was to just absorb a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I suppose so. We got the 2-goal advantage sort of allows you to do that, but I almost think some of that is to do with the lack of reinforcements that we have. I think the substitutions today showed that we're kind of, as you would expect for a team that's newly promoted, not quite with the depth of even West Ham. Like we're able to bring some players off. That
I mean, let's not make any mistakes. West Ham have got some really good players. They're obviously in a very bad moment at the minute, and they're in a bit of a toxic tailspin, judging by some of the songs that came from the away end tonight. But make no mistake, they've got some really good footballers, particularly in attack. You can see,
like Paqueta and Bowen would, without a shadow of a doubt, get into our team, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, I mean, they have several sort of 30-40 million pound players. That centre back who was at Barcelona once, wasn't he? Todibo.
Yeah, a lot of them are not worth that. It must be.
No, 100%.
They've paid that for people,
which is what's annoyed some of their fans as well. It should be said.
I think we boxed clever for the most part and deserved to win. And
we acknowledge what our limitations were, and the injuries I think played a part in that. Because I know there's going to be people who are annoyed at Farker or direct annoyance at him for sitting back in that second half. But like you say, I don't think with the subs, particularly losing Okafor at half time to presumably, it was either, you can only presume, I haven't seen the post-match comments yet, but I can only presume it was either he had a little bit of a knock or they didn't want to risk him or he only had 45 minutes in him, whatever it might have been. But it worked, didn't it? Because we had the threat in the first half, we got the 2 goals and we could afford to absorb his loss based on the outcome. It wasn't always comfortable in that second half. But yeah, we ended up bringing on Harrison, which does nullify us from an attacking point of view. But I thought it was just a great performance, a great backs to the wall, gritty defending performance. And yeah, we lacked an out ball. Maybe we lacked a bit of quality, lacked a bit of passing. Brilliant.
Good.
I like it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. And it was, we can't probably underestimate either. I feel like the amount of pressure on this after Burnley was actually huge. Like we did have to win this, I thought. Even because, as you said, the last 4 minutes, while there were no chances, there was a bit of you going, this stadium will feel completely grim if they get an equaliser now.
Yeah.
Having led for 90 minutes of it, more or less, and then if they nodded him on in the 94th minute.
Particularly with Bournemouth not too far in the middle.
Yeah, and with Burnley there, I feel like we needed to win to get the season back on track.
I don't know about you two, but I really wasn't confident going into this game. And I know West Ham aren't great, and I know Leeds tend to be a much better team at home, but I was speaking to people earlier, and there was just something about it. I think it's because every time...
I was the opposite. I went into that overly confident. I don't know why.
Because every time Leeds fans go into a game feeling like we're going to win this, I just think of Norwich at home under Bielsa.
Wigan
at home. Pick a game at home at some point where you were optimistic.
But we often have those games where we are on a good run and you expect it to continue forever. We're coming off the back of a bit of adversity here, and I think sometimes we just have this in us. And I always expected us, particularly when saw the changes that happened, which we'll address that in a second. I don't know. I just felt like it was a bit of a reset tonight, and the team were always going to come out and try and give it one under the lights. And they did, to be fair. Just to answer a question, that David has asked in the comments, what did the away fans sing that was toxic? Leeds fans were singing, "You sold your soul for that shithole," referring to their stadium, and they were applauding that. And when their centre forward lad went down? It was on gas and air, is that right? He was on some sort of painkillers, I think, on the pitch as he walked off.
Yeah, he might have just had a vape on the go. I'm not sure.
Leeds fans were singing, "He's had enough, he's had enough." And then they started singing, "We've had enough, we've had enough," and sack the board.
There was also, we had a corner, I think they headed it away, and there were like the ironic cheers from the away end.
They managed to defend it.
It was like, we've defended well for once. Well done, everyone.
Because they were particularly, despite having their good players, I thought they were porous in defence. They were badly organised, and you could see it in the goals.
I think because we scored early, it felt kind of like some of the championship games last year where we would just come flying out of the blocks and score, and then the opponent would be like, right, well, that's our entire game plan out the window. And obviously tonight, I think Nuno had it in his mind that he would sit back and frustrate, and it didn't work because Brendan Aronson is class, and I've always said that.
Same. It's funny enough, actually.
If he could do that every week, there'd be no criticisms of him. He was brilliant tonight.
I've got YouTube open in front of me, actually. Claret and Booze, who we had on the West Ham thing that I had on Propaganda last week, he's live streaming at the moment, and he's called, he says, "Live match reaction, we are done. Suicide from Nuno" is the title of that. So there's some negativity for you.
What suicidal then? Was it the sitting back that you're talking about? Because I know that they tend to, like, Nuno tends to send teams out to be a bit counter-attacky, doesn't he? And you can see it actually in transition, they did do that. But then we kind of let them have the ball a lot of the time, and they were just misplacing passes, or we were getting in on the end of them and intercepting them. And that's what I really like. Just the way that we defended so robustly most of the time. We switched off a couple of times, but you're always going to do in a game. You know, you're never going to have it as one-way traffic or absorb absolutely everything. I just really liked... I just liked how we overcame the adversity that was presented by the shit that we saw last week, and then just the limitations within the squad, like you say, the injuries and stuff, and we just defended so well tonight. I actually feel a little bit sorry for Brendan Aronson tonight for such a good performance by him, that our defence was outstanding as well. The two centre halves, I think, absolutely owned it back there and headed everything away. And a debut for Beal, which a lot of people were asking for. All the stuff that we were saying in the wake of the Burnley game kind of happened in the run-up to this game, with the exception of Brendy.
Yeah. To go back to West Ham, what they did wrong, I don't know if he's talking about the selection, because I actually thought the injury helped them. I thought they were better after they brought a striker on, because the guy went off was not a striker. He'd just been in the box for some reason, but I don't even know who's playing up front for them. Is it like Bowen and Paqueta seem to be sort of...
I think it must have been like Paqueta as a false nine.
They're going to say they seem to be the furthest players forward.
Scarl started at right back on Monday night.
Yeah, I think he was right back today.
Yeah. They have him on the right of a back three, but Wan-Bissaka's in that back three. I don't really know too much about your man Juve on the other side.
Juve, because Wan-Bissaka was on the right, wasn't he? God knows. I actually don't know where that lad was playing who went off.
Did you spot that between Gabby Goodmanson going off and half time, every single player on the pitch for us was right-footed? You spot that? Because I thought that's how we were going to start the second half. Because I realised we had four. I looked, I was like, we've got four right-footed defenders on. Because James Justin
JJ
came on. And we'll talk about him, actually, all the new boys in a moment or two. But yeah, I was like, the back four, they're all right-footed. And I started going through the team. I was like, so's he.
Bielsa would never.
Yeah, so everybody on the field was a righty until Harrison came on at half-time for Okafor. Yeah, so there you go.
Well, there you go.
What do you think of the new boys, then? Not the new boys, the changes, rather.
I was glad to see him, to be honest. I felt like it needed freshening up. And I'm also at a point where I just think we need to play the players we've signed, because we've signed them presumably for a reason, and at some point you need to see them. And I thought they all did well, all the players who came in.
Yeah, I don't particularly think, even still, that starting Beal made that much of a difference compared to last week.
Maybe not.
I also think, I mean, if you want to criticise, the goal that West Ham scored is an unmarked header in the box.
I was at the far end for me, and I've not seen a replay of it yet. So,
but Beal played well. I am slightly concerned that he might paralyse someone at some point this season.
Might be Gabby Goodmanson.
He is massive.
Yeah.
And like,
I really liked. I think it was there was a point in that second half where there was a little tussle going on. I think it was with Callum Wilson as the ball was running into the corner by their fans, and he just gave him a right old shove, and they were just pushing each other. And it was proper centre back against centre forward, old school, old style play in that regard. That's, again, another thing I just really enjoyed.
Callum Wilson just kept shoving people in the back, like pretty much from the moment he came on, and got away with it almost completely.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
I think Beale's physicality actually works to his disadvantage in the eyes of the referee, because there was a couple of moments that he was penalised for things that probably aren't a foul, but nowadays, like, you know, if you just touch someone at all, he gets away with some of those things when he's playing in Italy, but now everything's very, like, it's in favour of the striker.
I will say this, I did think we got away with a little bit more tonight than perhaps they did. Atwell, strange refereeing at times.
It was
it was quite good at times, but then he'd start giving decisions 30 seconds after.
I thought he had absolutely zero command of the game. Like, just really weak, really strange decisions at points. There was a bit where it was when, I think it was Paqueta had it in the corner, and the ref had a really good view of it, and he looked to his linesman who was still on the halfway line to give the decision. The linesman was like, fuck it, 50 yards away, why don't you do it? You're looking straight at
Was
this.
that the one where I think he just guessed it and he gave it to West Ham because they were the defensive team?
Yeah.
Which is the general guidance towards officials is if you're not sure, give it to the defending team.
Yeah, it was the fact that he was stood very close to it, and then I looked up the line, and it just felt a bit, come on, mate.
But anyway, it's not a night to talk about.
No.
Well, fuck him.
Can we talk about SofaScore have rated Dominic Calvert-Lewin a 5.7?
I think that, again, shows you exactly what's wrong with the algorithms that do this shit. Compared to what we saw with our eyes tonight, which was an absolutely brilliant performance tonight. I thought he led the line so well. Often when he was isolated, particularly in that second half.
He was very, very isolated in the second half, and also was clearly incredibly tired from about 70 minutes onwards. I'd have maybe taken him off a bit sooner than he was.
They have played him for more than I think you would have expected in pretty much every game that he started.
I think he might have done had he not used up one of the substitution windows on Goodmanson in the first half.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because obviously you're only allowed 3. The half-time one doesn't count. And we'd use 2 to that point. He always likes to keep one back, does Farker, for disrupting things late on and in injury time. But he actually went, 80 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, but I thought he did well, and he looked tired. He attempted a Gary Kelly on the ground header as well at one point in the second half, which was interesting. I don't know if if he's just tired at that point. He's like, I've committed to the header and I'm just going to fall on it.
I thought I hit him on the arse because it was down the far end from me, but I just saw him do like a little sideways roll. And
I think he might have actually hit him on the arse, but he looked like he tried to head it, even though it was like at ankle high. It was a strange choice.
I think the most interesting change was Tanaka coming in, because, and I think we talked about during the week, I like Longstaff, Stack, and Ampadu, but they're too similar. All 3 of them together, I feel, are too similar. And you could see it at times during the game, Rodon especially, and Beale, knowing to look for Ampadu. And it was a lot less sidewards and a lot more forward.
Interesting comment here, Chris, from Cockney White. It says, Tanaka was a worry for me tonight, virtually anonymous. The way the second half went was made for Stack. I agree, probably when it got into a bit of a scrap in that second half, it was possibly more suited to Stack, but he brought Gruev on. But I think, and I'm not just saying this because I like Tanaka, but I think that he did some good things in that first half when we had more of the ball. Obviously, when you have less of the ball, he's going to be less prominent in how the game shakes down and his involvement in it. But I thought he did some really good stuff just looking after the ball in that first half and doing that thing where he turns in tight spots. And he's not going to be as commanding as he was in the Championship because you just have less of the ball and it's faster and more powerful. But I would say he was like a solid 7, I think.
And also he's not been playing, has he? He's not in any kind of rhythm, is he?
So. I don't think it's unfair to criticise the second half, or at least think that he dropped off, because he did. But yeah, as you say, like, he hasn't played all that much this season. And
it's a perfect example of things we've said loads of times on this show, which is how hard it is to come by goals in the Premier League and points. You know, you've got a scrap for everything. And again, going back to the thing that I liked about tonight was that knowing how hard it is to get those, the fact that we dug it out, and I think I've accepted that we're going to have less of the ball sometimes. So I was, up to a point in the abstract, quite comfortable with us being backs to the wall in the second half. I mean, living through it is a different matter when the ball's getting shoved into the box. But I thought I was never panicky about that, I don't think, because I think we defended so well.
I've just watched their goal back, actually. Obviously it's quite different in terms of how many people are in the box, but it's a little bit like the Burnley one, and it's actually in some ways hard to know who's meant to be, because Ampadu's sort of tracking his run and stops.
Yeah.
But then it's never handed over to, it'd be Rodon, I guess. It's never really hands him over to Rodon, and the guy's just in the middle of them both.
Yeah. And the defenders are maybe slightly too far apart as well. But, like, you know, it was 2-0 at that point. We're not going to get annoyed about it. Yeah, I don't think Tanaka will start next week. No. Because
Brighton is more suited to the attritional midfield, isn't it?
Yeah. I really like Gruev. I think he's just he's the guy who gets you from A to B as a midfielder. He took
a great booking.
Yeah.
Real thoroughly professional booking.
Yeah.
Just span away from him and he went, nope.
He's always got one of them in him.
Everyone was like, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, good boy.
Good choice.
It's where, I think it was where James Justin, when he got his booking, he just sort of retreated off back into the left back position and just sort of gave a thumbs up to the ref.
Yeah.
Like yeah, fine. We all know what's happened here. I'm just going to take this one on the chin. Thanks to my mate Neil, who's just texted me and says that Farke said in the post-match that they had far more problems with illness and injuries than he let on, which probably does, I suppose, explain why Okafor only got 45 minutes.
Unbelievable shit.
Yeah, and Dan James perhaps just 10 at the end. So, yeah, I think Farke deserves praise for tonight. In light of the shape of the squad. If we're prepared to criticise last week about how they all performed and the approach to it, if he got a lot wrong last week, I think we got a lot right this week tonight.
The second half, in some ways, was a bit like the Burnley game in that it actually felt like nothing was going to happen for the majority of it.
Which I think is exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, and when you're 2 up, that's fine, isn't it?
I think as well, Farke's team tends to, like, you kind of, what I was saying earlier about not feeling confident going into this game, in hindsight, he tends to have been able to get the players up for games like this because we tend to win more of the games where we have to win them than we don't. Last year, especially whenever the pressure was really on, obviously. But even like Everton at the start of the season, that you can't call the first game of the season a must win, but to start at home with a win against a team that you sort of thought were going to be down there, but probably aren't. Like, he does deserve some credit. He must be doing something. I would say it probably helps that he's very calm.
Yeah.
So
yeah, in the face of a fan base that's not, and I hold my hands up there and think back to Swansea last year. Let's talk about Perry, because he came back into the side for Carl Darlow, and Sam the miserable bastard in the comments says he had nothing to do, all to do all night other than an overhead kick that was at him. Given their forward players, that is excellent. I thought he looked all right tonight. I think I like what I saw.
Yeah,
and it was
so big.
And it was really wet as well.
And that early save that he did, it was in the first half where he got down very quickly and scooped it away. He
saved one and then he punched it away.
It was exceptionally good.
Yeah, I thought it was decent tonight. We got to see one very big throw from him as well?
Yeah, he did.
He caught it and wanged it onto Calvert-Lewin's head, didn't he? That was good.
His distribution looked better as well overall. I think.
Yeah, he didn't quite slice quite as well. He tended to hook actually, didn't he, rather than slice. Yeah. He sort of drags the ball across the ball from what we've seen. But yeah, I was glad to see him come in. Yeah. We spent so much money on a goalkeeper. You've got to play him. I don't think Darlow's done anything wrong.
Yeah, as you said earlier, Michael, I think you absolutely nailed it when you said that these players were bought, so why not just play them? Like, you don't need to be clever in terms of who features where in the squad. It's like, sign these players for big money. Yeah, they have to at some point just be first choice.
I don't think Darlow ever did anything to suggest that he should start, though. Do you know what I mean? He didn't do anything to suggest that he's a better goalkeeper than Lucas Perry is.
He made some good saves at Fulham.
Yeah.
Not to remember.
No, the thing is, on the other side of that, nor did he ever do anything to suggest he should be dropped.
Either. So therefore, you're £17 million goalkeeper.
Yeah,
like, I didn't really think
they're on a par.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, though. Darlow is someone who is, throughout his career, he's never come close to being a £17 million goalkeeper, has he? That's the thing, and he's of an age where he's not realistically getting any better. So perfectly good as a reserve, but if you're going to spend that much money on a goalkeeper to start, just start him. I know he was unconvincing against Arsenal, wasn't he? Which maybe is, but I wouldn't really blame him for any of those goals. Massively.
By that standard, you would drop the entire team if that's what you were using as. It was the same as the Sheffield Wednesday game, saying how players didn't play well in that game. In hindsight, nobody played well that day. So.
The occasional aberration. Yeah. Final, just word when we're just sort of meandering our way through the players on JJ. I thought he was superb tonight. He did all right, didn't put a foot wrong at all.
It's exactly what he was signed for, isn't it?
Yeah, particularly in light of the fact that, I don't know about you, when Goodmanson started holding his back and he kept going down, it's like, this is still not good. This is a worry for me.
As soon as he went down, there were players,
particularly because he was against Bowen.
There were players coming over trying to help him up, and he was like, "No, just gonna have a little lay down for a bit longer. Don't really want to get up just yet." Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's done there, but it's a shame for him to be out because he's,
Yeah, you just hope it's
he's
short
been
term.
very good, but
we'll
see.
Just to kick Atwell again, did you notice that he told Goodmanson to walk off the pitch?
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he hadn't been treated by physios?
Yeah, hadn't been treated. Because I thought what was happening at that moment was he was walking off himself to get subbed because he was going to have to come off. And I thought, well, you don't need to do that. Stay on the field and just go down if you're injured. Because we were at that point in the run-up to half-time where they were having a little spell of pressure. Like, you just take the sting out of it, break it up a little bit. Although half-time
I was going to say
came at midnight.
That 13-minute run-up to half-time.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anything as long as that? That's wild, wasn't it?
I felt like having a first half.
It's very obscure, but I used to do some match coverage for Opta, and there was a game that was 16 or 17 minutes added time in the first half.
But yeah, to return to the point, JJ was excellent when he came on for Goodmanson, who I thought was going to be a big miss, particularly because we're up against. I mean, we haven't spoken about Somerville yet, but we can come on to him. Somerville and Bowen in their wide positions, not to be sniffed at. Should we talk about the goals? Actually, first, before we talk about the goals, let's mention Ireland and Northern Ireland. We are going to Galway, 25th of March, Dublin, 27th of March, and we're going to Belfast, 29th of March, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, in that order. thesquareball.net/live. If you go into the Dublin gig, I mean, fuck Ticketmaster. Sorry, we had no choice but to use them because they're tied to the venue. Their fees are fucking exorbitant. It's a scandal. Fuck off again. But please do buy tickets. I'm sorry
fuck
about
off Ticketmaster.
Fuck off Ticketmaster. You though, love you. Yeah.
That's why it looks very much cheaper to go to Galway or Belfast. Yeah. We're not punishing the people of Dublin.
Yeah.
But we'll try and put on a show for you to make up for it. Yeah. Sorry about that. We have no control over this whatsoever, their fees or the fact that we have to use them. So yeah, we'll try and do better. I'm sorry. Anyway, goals.
Brendan Aronson, what a player.
What a game tonight he had.
He was brilliant.
He did everything right.
He was good.
I don't think it's something that they measure, but do you think there's been a player who's scored 2 goals in the Premier League from such a short distance? It must be combined about 3 yards.
Yeah, that is true. It was a bit of a tap in, wasn't it? But he nearly scored a goal of the season, though.
Oh my God.
It was the Medford Messi moment, wasn't it? I was like, no way. Because I don't know about you, because he'd had a similar situation on the break a little bit before that. And I don't know if he played a ball down the line or if there's maybe a ball to be threaded through. And I don't know if he took it or he took the wrong option. He didn't quite come off the previous time. Didn't do anything wrong. And I was just imploring him to make the through ball. I think it was Harrison who got bombing down the left, actually. Thread that through ball in for Harrison just to tuck this one away. And then he unleashed that, and I was like, oh, bloody hell.
I think it was deflected onto the bar, wasn't it? From memory.
Yeah. I saw it hit the bar, but
we got a corner, didn't we?
I thought it was a goal kick at the time. I think it was to Calvert-Lewin where he played that ball before, but it's one of those ones where it's 50-50 between him and the defender. He played well. Like, you have to give him credit.
Yeah.
He
had a very good individual performance across 90 minutes.
Yeah. And caused some problems. Did well in tight little areas. He just did well, didn't he?
Yeah. His decision making was good.
Obviously, he has to back it up, but it's another thing as well. You kind of have to give him credit for is the fact that obviously Okafor's not fit, so you have to bring Harrison on. Realistically, he could have played the full 90 minutes there, Aronson. Like, that he can keep going and going and going and going for 90 minutes. So.
Yeah. FOTMob, statistically, their algorithm has given him the man of the match, with Rodon just tucked in slightly behind. Like, he's got 8.3 out of 10, which I think is pretty accurate. And Rodon 8.1, and Beale's got 7.8, which I think they're all pretty fair. Yeah,
I would say so. Yeah. Sometimes his crossing, he doesn't really get him off the ground a bit, does he? Something which can be a bit frustrating with him. But like generally speaking, it was. If he played like that every week, we would have no issue with him. Is the thing. It's a shame it didn't go in.
I know.
Yeah,
but funny enough, I was watching.
You guys tapping.
I was watching because I was looking at parallels between seasons, and our 8th game in Marsh, in the Marsh full season, well, not quite a full season, was away at Palace, and Aronson nearly scores a really good goal, and that he dances through a few people and hits the post, and that's when then it goes back to Strauch, who then puts it in to put us in the lead. And I was watching it like literally earlier this week, going, I don't see him do that anymore. Like, he doesn't seem to really go past people, and then there he was. Ampadu also did it in the first half.
Yeah.
And then the shot, never mind.
His left foot as well.
Yes. Although his Ampadu's shot in the second half is worth mentioning as well, where the keeper was out of his goal.
When it just broke to him halfway inside the half.
Yeah. And he went I mean, thankfully Calvert-Lewin was there to chase it, so he could make it look almost like he'd just done like an up and under type thing. But I'm pretty sure that was a shot, and it was not close, but it was a nice try.
Yeah, it felt like he had a bit of a rush of blood to the head with that one because he'd been on that run previously.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really a goal scorer, is he, Ampadu?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was in his position, I'm shooting there because I'm like, when else am I going to get a chance to do this?
Yeah.
Then you do it and you go,
that's why I don't.
That's why. But it was good tonight, was Ampadu in general. So
yeah. So the goals. Yeah, and Aaronson got his tap in 3 minutes in, very reminiscent of Chelsea. That was very, very early, wasn't it? When he scored that one from very, very close range. But he had to be there to do it, safe from the keeper. But again, it felt like we just caused chaos in that opening spell in their area. And I'm glad for once. It felt to me like the opening goal tonight was going to be absolutely crucial. Whoever got the first goal was going to give themselves the chance to win it. I thought it might have been 1-0 either way. But West Ham were a bit more attacky than I probably anticipated going into this game.
We said during the week as well, didn't we?
And as it was proven, we needed the 2 goals.
That West Ham coming off the back of a really dismal home performance, everyone turning against them, to get an early goal in it always felt like it would sort of...
It's like kicking a man when he's down.
Burst the bubble.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Bubbles chat.
I don't know if you looked at the away end, the 2-0, but quite a few people just walked straight. I'm assuming went to the bar, but just like, yeah, that's it. I'm away here.
Yeah. The other like West Ham fan thing that we had on, they're also live at the moment, and they just says, "This is sad." So,
but you know what it feels like, don't you? When you just cannot, when you get down there and you just cannot escape.
And also, like our goals felt to have scored 2 early goals without. It almost felt like we didn't really have to try to be 2-0 up. Which, when you're down the bottom, is how it felt to us when we were getting relegated from the Premier League. You'd turn up to games and you're just like, "Oh, right, brilliant. They're just scoring goals, are they?" Just without really doing anything. I mean, we're that shit.
Tonight is such a crucial win. We said it in the run-up to this game. It was really, really important that we got a win tonight, having failed to do so or got anything from Burnley, because now we've opened up. It's a 9-point gap on Wolves, who obviously have a game in hand, but they're playing Burnley, and we've got a 4-point gap on them. Somebody's dropping points there. We've opened up 7 points on West Ham, having played the same number of games. So we're not far off cutting 2 teams adrift soon if we continue just getting points on the board. I mean, it's so hard to close that sort of gap because, the spread from, you've got the spread from 5th is 14 points down to us at 13th. It's only 3 points across about 8 places in the table, or 9.
The way I also look at the table, though, is I kind of go, well, Newcastle will be fine. They're definitely going to end up higher than us in the table.
They're playing Fulham tomorrow, by the way, who are both beneath us now.
But they'll both probably finish above us, is kind of my idea.
Yeah, but the point is that somebody drops points.
Yeah, I know.
And it kicks it forward another week.
But
so
that's what I'm saying about I think of it, how is this going to look at the end of the season? And as it is, you kind of go, well, Wolves, West Ham and Burnley are probably the 3 that we need to finish above. They're the ones that are the most likely, aren't they? You would say at this stage.
I think it's just about thinking about points accumulation.
Yeah, just keep.
Yeah. It's 9 games, 11 points. Right. Okay. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's 11. Right. Yeah.
So just keep going.
There's a stat that is knocking about, which I'm not even going to do it about likelihood of relegation. I'm not going to do it.
Just don't.
No, if you want to look it up, do it yourself.
Likelihood of relegation 4-1.
It's in the.
That's what it says in the bookmakers.
Is further back in the comments on the stream, but I'm not going to say it because I'll get beaten to death with it as like a stick if I happen to mention it. But
according to the betting, we're less likely to be relegated than Burnley, Wolves, West Ham, Sunderland, and Forest.
Forest?
Yeah,
I suppose a lot of betting would have been done on that
pre-Dyche.
Yeah, they won last night as well, didn't they?
Beat Porto, didn't they?
Yeah,
which is
good. They got this weekend? Presumably that'll be on Sunday.
Yes, it will be on because of European football. I mean, I think Forest have got enough good players and a slightly, probably a bit of a boring manager, but I can't see him getting him relegated.
Probably not.
He kept a much worse Burnley team up and a much worse Everton team up year after year, didn't he? So they're probably fine.
I quite enjoyed Crescencio Somerville getting tackled by a right back who apparently can't defend on multiple occasions. Jaden Bogle. He put in about 3 tackles in about 10 minutes of each other.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what to expect in terms of Somerville's reception tonight.
It was mixed, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got a little ripple of applause when he went off, but there were a lot more people kind of booing him. And I know it's a little bit pantomime, isn't it, in terms of old players coming back? But he he left at the first opportunity. Now you could argue whether the club needed to sell players or not. Fine. Don't necessarily need to get into it, but he went when we went down, or failed to go up, whichever. So you've got to bracket him in with the rest if you're going to chuck bricks at the rest.
But so did Archie Gray.
Yeah. I think the things with Somerville,
It was Bournemouth Forest, by the way. Bournemouth away.
Somerville was, you never got the impression he really loved it here, I suppose, which is a completely, I don't know, a complete concept of a thing. But like Georgie, for example, he seemed to really like buy into it. Somerville, it always felt like he probably wanted to play in the Premier League just for someone.
Yeah, he had a Premier League attitude in the Championship.
Yeah, and he was very, very good for us.
Yeah, he scored the same goal over and over again because nobody could stop him.
We stopped him tonight, though, and that was good.
Yeah,
just show him down the left.
Yeah,
yeah.
You could see it. I don't know if you watched it, how we were defending. We were looking to double up on him and Bowen a lot, as often as we could, and show them to their weaker sides. With mixed fortune, there was a couple of times in that first half. They got across and had a bit of threat.
And there was the weird goal as well, which was that Paqueta who scored that, and it was VAR took ages looking at it because it was offside in the end, wasn't it? But I don't know why that took quite so long.
The offside VAR, the goal. I think it's because if it's the same goal I'm thinking about, there was talk of Calvert-Lewin being offside, but they were judging.
No, the West Ham scored.
Oh, right, okay.
And they looked at that for ages.
I don't know. I could only see. It's not a great view on the screen from the East Stand, but they showed the still, and it showed him clearly offside. But I think
was it whether or not Bogle had played it?
I think it was they were looking at who'd got the final touch and propelled it in his direction, whether it had come off the defender, like he played it onto him, or yeah. But I don't know.
Because I think it was. Yeah, whether or not they would, I assume they were just deciding whether or not Bogle had played the ball out there because I think it came off him last. But if the ball's kicked onto him at the moment it's kicked, I guess he's offside. I think they must have been looking at something like that.
I couldn't really see what was going on. But the weird thing is, the linesman on the east side, so what would have been West Ham's right, he didn't flag initially.
No,
he was pointing towards something to the referee, obviously communicating with him. But then he put the flag up quite late. So he must have been told to put the flag up to generate the VAR check, or I don't know. It's all
it all felt really weird.
Very stuttery and delayed, wasn't it? People in the comments, by the way, saying that the VAR wasn't working properly. Like the automated thing wasn't working properly. Who knows if that's still down to the Amazon data centers being knackered. It was AWS, wasn't it, that went down this last week and bollocksed it up. Matt is suggesting it was too rainy for it to work. Could be.
I mean, I'm all for it not working.
Yeah.
Where's the touchscreen?
Yeah.
Just someone with a wee iPad at the side of the pitch.
At it. Oh, it's not working.
But it does really knacker up the in-stadium experience. It's hard to convey, that, isn't it? Like you kind of like, what's going on? What is it they're looking for? Because the commentators can listen and talk about it, but we don't have a clue. We just have to sit there and wait.
And even we had to wait for a while for the restart after Aronson's goal, didn't we, as well? And that's the one, it's because Calvert-Lewin, they were judging, I think, on that, whether or not he'd gone in front of the goalkeeper. Just, it's fine, innit? Just get on with it.
I think it doesn't help
it's fine, innit?
that they don't show the replays. And I know in rugby league and union and stuff they do. And obviously in football they don't want to set the crowd off. We're not going to start ripping chairs out because someone's half a yard offside.
Have you seen the 1975 European Cup final?
Not anymore. Everyone's a bit more pleasant nowadays.
Yeah, more CCTV. Hey,
but yeah, I did. The big breaks for it were not great in the stadium. Once again,
just going to plug the mag. I keep forgetting to do it, so here we go. Issue 3 of the mag is out today with Arlie Burton's lovely cover of Ao Tanaka on the front. It's a little bit of a teaser for the calendar.
Yeah, the calendar. We just signed off the artwork on, haven't we, for Christmas? And for next year. That's how calendars tend to work. And it's great.
It's great.
We'll say it's current Leeds, but in retro kits. That's all I'll say.
And the mag is great too.
Yeah.
Loads of good stuff in it.
You can buy it online or you can buy it at the next home game, but that's in about 6 years' time. Yeah. So you might want to buy it online if you've not managed to pick it up tonight.
Yeah. Just digging through some of the comments from Farker in the post-match. As I was saying earlier on, me and Daniel Farker I was going to say 2 peas in a pod. Maybe not. It's never easy to win at this level, but we agree on that. Difficult week, more than I spoke about in the press conference. We struggled so much with illness and injuries. Players just back after injuries, Stack another hit on his rib. Finding the right mix was difficult. Started bravely. Last 20 minutes, you could see the difficult week we had. Would have substituted 11 players if I could. It's a priceless 3 points. First game after losing momentum is never easy. Have to dig in and win that momentum back. Speaking about the quality of Jacobiol, why they signed him, beneficial to have 2 90 minutes during the break. Confidence growing in training. Pascal's been ill this week. Last game, not big mistakes, but unlucky to be involved in the goals last week. I think he's referring to there. Doesn't sound like this is Baron Cross tweeting saying he doesn't sound like Okafor's injured himself. Farke was keen to take him off around 50 or 55 minutes anyway, and then the length of the first half meant that it made sense to change him at half time. And he's hopeful that Goodmanson is just a bruise. I hadn't even thought about that, you know.
I was hoping that's he knew he didn't have a full game in him, so he was like, well, we're going to.
He did an hour
rather than bring him on. He did. I mean, the reason it was added on is because nothing happened for a very long periods of it. But yeah, I kind of hoped we were like get him on, try and get it won, and then take him off, rather than in some ways it feels almost like a safer option, but it's probably not. To hope you can get in the lead and then bring him on if you're chasing it. But yeah, probably the right choice.
Yeah, it's like sort of like finishers. Isn't this the new phrase that they're taking from rugby union? With sometimes people leave, they don't know whether to leave their best players on the bench to save them for later in the game, or to go out and try and get the game won. I'm definitely more in the camp of just go out and get it won.
Yeah.
You've 5 subs. If you have to take one off at half time, do it.
Yeah, particularly in a game that was set up as this one was, at home against a team that was low on confidence and stuff. It felt like the obvious way to go.
Just continuing what Beren's reporting on Daniel Farke's comments. Relief in the dressing room, but unbelievably exhausted too. They have delivered performances, but points have slipped away from them. We spoke about the final 1 or 2% that we need. We did that tonight. Wild in the first half, needed to be more compact and stop going for counters every time. Needed periods of keeping the ball and did that for the first 25 of the second half. After that, we were getting more tired, covered more distance tonight than any other game this season, which actually figures given the length of the half as well.
I was thinking that as well about Calvert-Lewin. I know strikers don't tend to cover as much distance as midfielders, but it felt like he just was constantly running. He was never standing still or walking or jostling. He was just running and running and running into space,
you
running
see,
in behind.
As you said earlier, he ran himself into the ground tonight. You can see that those late challenges that he made before he got taken off. You could see he was just like right on his last legs.
And he gets a touch on everything. It's incredible.
You can see his quality in that regard, can't you? It's so obvious, like to the eye. So fuck the algorithm scoring him 5 point whatever. Not having it.
We're pleased with you.
Yeah. Final thought on this bit before we head into to extra time. Isn't it nice to get your win under the belt tonight, Friday night, and it's just not ruined the rest of your weekend?
Match of the day will be making a return in my house this week.
We're so fickle.
Because I was just fuck off. No, I'm not doing any of that. Thank you very much. Particularly because the other results none of them were what I wanted either. So I've just been like,
I got so much enjoyment out of being a football fan tonight and coming through that with the points, particularly with Bournemouth in mind, and particularly because we lost last week. So I kind of resent it being taken away from me when we don't play well or we lose. And I know we're going to lose games at this level. It's just how it is. But I hate having my nice toy taken away and be resentful of it.
Yeah. The thing is, it was much more dispiriting to lose to Burnley than it was to lose to Spurs, wasn't it? Or to throw it away against Bournemouth, because you could kind of go, they're good teams. And whereas Burnley were like, no, that was just annoying.
It was just a bad day. And I'm sure there'll be more, but it just shows you as well, like, you really should celebrate the wins when they come.
Yeah. You gain nothing from not enjoying them, do you? Going, let's just be cautious. We're not Daniel Farke. We don't need to be cautious.
And I saw before we actually went live, the comments that were starting to come in, and people were talking about their response to things on Twitter and the fact that people were moaning about stuff on Twitter. But that's kind of what it's there for, isn't it? People to just externalize whatever's in their head, and it will tend to be negative because I suppose football kind of predisposes you towards that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Just don't read it.
And particularly when you're holding on to a game, there is a bit of it in the back of your head going, we're giving him too much of the ball. Like, we can't just keep giving it back to him. We just keep knocking it long. We need to hold on to it. We need to keep hold of it in the corners.
It's just anxiety, isn't it? It's just people externalizing anxiety. Don't worry about it. It's tomorrow's chip paper.
It's the sort of stuff that, because people are watching on TV and tweeting it because you're not doing it in the stadium because there's no signal. It's the same as if you're in a pub. There'll be people going, fucking hell, what are we doing? It's just... It's just that.
It's a different experience.
It's just that, but online.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
But don't sweat. Just enjoy the wins.
Don't worry about it.
Enjoy the wins when they come, like we do, and we don't moan too much about the defeats, do we? We don't worry about them ever.
No, never.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to wrap up the match ball there. Thank you, members, for joining us on the live stream. It's getting late because we've got to be out of here in about 37 minutes. And we have things to do, including extra time. So if you are a subscriber, a member, head to the your control panel and you can add TSB Plus to your podcast player. And there you will find, at the end of the audio version, some extra time now, a little debrief, some bonus chat. And you can become a member at thesquareball.net/plus. Going to be speaking to Hayden Evans, Harry Gray's agent, on Monday, getting the lowdown on that. That should be really, really good. And we can all come in here with a good mood. And propaganda will be great, no matter what happens now, because Leeds have won.
Sheffield United 2 up, lost 3-2. Thank you very much for having a little look at that.
Little
to
gift.
to Hecky's Preston as well. Is it still Hecky? I think it is.
Yeah,
I
it is.
don't know.
Let's say it is. Let's just say
What's the championship?
It probably is.
so thank you for joining us on this one. Thesquareball.net/live for tickets for our trip to Ireland and Northern Ireland in March. Plenty of time to get them, but they are selling quickly, so don't hang about. And we'll see you
The Match Ball.